Thank you.
Hello, as a designer slash programmer, I was wondering what kind of challenges you had for the design slash implementation for the console of Diablo 3, and what lessons you could learn from them, and I'd like to know about it.
I'm sorry, for the what?
Any design slash implementation challenges you had for the console version of Diablo 3.
Got it.
And what lessons you learned from it, I'd like to know.
Well, I mean, we haven't built it yet, so lessons learned are not very many because we've only experimented with like kind of control schemes and things like that. Jason could probably talk to any kind of technical stuff. The biggest challenge is really targeting. Movement actually feels better on a controller. Like having direct control over your character feels really good. But how you target, like, and certain skills like Magic Missile feels great because it's just shooting in a direction. But a skill like Blizzard, and trying to figure out exactly where that's going to go without putting some kind of targeting reticle in the world, which we really don't want to do, that's actually probably one of the biggest challenges. And then there's a lot of little subtle things. Monster distribution and AI feels a little bit different than it does on the PC version when we've played around with just again how the controller feels and how it feels to get surrounded. So, but those are very subtle things. Any technical stuff you want to comment on?
No, I think it's mostly that control is king. Like everybody wants a game where you feel like you have great direct control of your character, and that's what we've probably spent most of our time experimenting with, and trying to make sure that that gets right on the console version that we're playing around with.
Thank you.
Oh, hey guys. So I think I speak for everyone here when I ask, can we get some beta keys?
Yeah, I have some in my back pocket right now. We're going to be releasing more beta keys very shortly. So if you've signed up, you have a chance to get them. So we're trying to keep the beta running as long as we can, and we're going to keep sending out waves of beta keys. Right now, we're just waiting. We have a big patch coming, and we're just waiting for that patch to hit before we release some more.
And for those of you that have been participating in the beta that are here in the audience, thank you so much for playing and testing the heck out of the game. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, I went to the sound panel yesterday, and they told me to come to you guys and ask you if you could make a level that would incorporate the sound effect of a pig playing a guitar.
Okay. I got this one.
And I was also wondering how many other secret areas you guys might have planned for the game.
Okay. The pig playing a guitar, this is the third time someone has asked me this question now, and I'd love to know what the sound guys were thinking when they came up with that one. So, hey, Christian, can we get the animation of a pig playing guitar?
We'll get right on that.
Yeah, I'm going to think of a super grim storyline to how the pig came to the point in his life where he's got to play a guitar. That's going to be really dark.
I've seen the technical problems with it.
It won't be in at all. We'll see.
What kind of guitar does a pig play? Like bluesy, maybe, or?
Yeah, Delta
okay,
blues for sure.
Cool. Yeah.
Banjo.
Oh, what was the other question? Oh, about other secret areas?
Secret areas.
Why do you guys always want to know things that spoil the game for you? Why do you always ask those questions? Do we have secret areas? Yes. What are they?
They're secret.
It's a secret.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you for making followers endgame viable. And there were some builds in D2 where the mercenary was your main source of damage, like a Singer Barbarian. Will those be viable? Builds be viable in D3 as well?
Where I'm sorry, that the hireling was the
your
main?
follower is the main source of your damage.
I wish Wyatt was here. He would probably be able to answer that. My guess is, I don't know. I honestly don't know whether that's the case. We haven't really done enough. Like we changed over to make followers viable very recently, so we haven't played with them in the higher difficulties that much. So how they feel in there and how much damage output they truly have and how much we're willing to give them is going to come through playing it. So I don't want to say yes or no to that at this time.
Thank you.
Hey guys. So I know how you said in Inferno the level cap for the characters is at 60, but the monster is going to be 61 and higher, so that the monster's always tough. It's always a challenge. But eventually we are going to beat it. I was just wondering if there's like plans or groundwork for like a super dungeon or like a new Uber Tristram type thing, maybe.
Well, I'm sure if you guys get really bored and don't want to play the game anymore, we'll try to do something. But right now we're more focused on getting D3 done. So we haven't really thought what we do beyond that. But I can promise you, if you guys destroy Inferno and you're just sitting around on your giant mounds of totally not ill-gotten loot, then we'll do something about it.
Thank you.
Hello. Sorry. Yesterday you said that you revealed the cast speed for wizards are going to be related to weapon speed, and arcane power regenerates at a static rate. So let's say when you run out of arcane power, you only can cast one meteor every 4.8 seconds. What are you doing to incentivize having faster weapons for spells like that?
For spells, oh, well, the faster weapons really affect the academic, I think they call them academic now, basically the academic spells. So we have, for every class, one of the things that we've learned about the combat model is you have to have something to do at all times. We can't really have a scenario where you completely run out of resource and you just stand around waiting for it to come back. You need some kind of response. In Diablo 2, you had mana potions. We didn't want to do mana potions, so we needed to make sure every class had their own kind of unique response. For the wizard, it's you almost always want an academic spell because they're free. So you can cast those as much as you want, and the attack speed is very much affected by your weapon. But some skills like Meteor, where you don't cast them very often, they do benefit from a higher damage weapon, and that's okay, because that's the kind of build that you would want with that particular skill. Whereas another skill that uses a lot of arcane power, like Disintegrate, has a much more kind of straight, constant beam that go out. It's not like one blast every few seconds. It's constant. So it's affected a lot by weapon speed. So it really just depends upon your build. So if you've got a lot of abilities that have more of a constant or faster attack rate, then you want faster weapons. If you've got kind of big bomb abilities, you want bigger weapons.
Makes sense?
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I had a question about the authentication system. Being that Diablo 3 is doing the actual bank accounts, per se, if the authenticator is going to be linked to Diablo 3 like they have been for StarCraft 2 and WoW.
Yes.
Good answer.
Great answer, yeah.
A little wordy.
I was clear.
A little wordy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. He wants to give it a little bit more wording. So, I mean, I'll give the line.
No, I was joking.
Oh, one word. Oh, okay.
A little wordy. Oh. I was making fun of you. He's a VP. He'll have me fired later.
Hey, guys. So in the panel yesterday, it was mentioned that people played with the skill menu open so they could swap between active skills, and then it may be locked during combat in some way. Has any thought been given to opening more skill slots or letting players set loadouts in town and then switch between that on the fly so the skill menu isn't used or needed?
So, more skill slots? No, absolutely not. One of the things that reasons why we have limited the skill slots is it creates more build diversity. It forces people to make hard decisions. A lot of the things, we made a lot of changes to the skill system and fairly radical changes from Diablo 2. And so one of the examples is the removal of skill points, which used to be a hard decision that the player made. So we didn't want the player to not have hard decisions. So, we changed those hard decisions from being skill point committal, which did force a tiny small number of skills already, to just capping the number of skills that you have. On the loadout idea, we get that suggestion a lot. It's not something we do for core release, but we can see maybe there might be use for it. We're happy to kind of let the game go out without that feature and see how much need there really is for it. And if there is, we'll consider it for the future.
Thank you.
Hey guys. All right. During the character design process, were there any characters you might have taken out of the game or rolled into any currently existing characters in D3?
Yeah, so there's a lot of iteration that we do when we do the character designs and even the class design. So there's definitely a lot of versions or a lot of sort of small ideas we had that we really loved. And we're sort of saving those for later. It's a very collaborative process, so the entire team gets involved, and we really sort of shoot ideas back and forth. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that we sort of get out of that. And some of it is too awesome not to use at some point, so we definitely have that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. With the implementation of using PayPal to buy items, I am curious what effects you think that might have, if any, on the PvP side. Say I'm going doing a team deathmatch and I'm matched up against somebody that spent like $100 on his character. Is there any system in place to affect that or help that kind of imbalance?
Well, the funny thing about it is one of the things we're avoiding with the PvP system is creating like a ranked ladder that lets you show like I'm the best, I'm in the top 5 PvPers in all of, Diablo land. Without that, all you're doing when you buy better equipment is just changing your hidden ranking, which is changing the quality of the players that you're fighting against or the quality of the items that they're fighting against. So it really doesn't give you a ton of benefit that you're going to see. Our system is going to be much more of a progression-based development system where the more you play PvP, the more progression you get. So it doesn't really matter if you're playing it at level 30 with crappy gear or you're playing it at level 60 with ridiculous awesome gear. Your win rate will speed things up primarily, but having better gear just makes you feel more awesome, but it doesn't actually truly affect the outcomes of the games because of the hidden ranking.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. My question is about a pretty hot topic on the forums. In D2, you had the hostile system for PvP and during the open world, and you're going more towards a arena-style PvP right now. Can you elaborate on your thought process behind that, or are we going to see some other kinds of PvP systems later on besides just the matchmaking arena?
So our thought process was that there was this fantasy in Diablo 2 of I'm out in the world, I'm excited, I'm fighting, and then all of a sudden another player shows up, and it's this tense moment of who knows whether they're going to attack me or not, or whether my teammate's going to suddenly turn against me or not. And the truth is that those things happen in isolated incidents when Diablo 2 first came out. And then pretty much the vast majority of PvP encounters either were I got ganked by somebody who town portaled back to town and went hostile while a frozen orb was still in the air. Not awesome. Or I just put a password on my game because I never want to be ganked. So the fantasy of that hostile encounter, it never happened. And all it did was really make people not want to play together. And so we took a stance on Diablo 3 that we will never do harm to the co-op game. We'll never do anything that will make people not want to play together. And also, we kind of looked at it too as that really wasn't a great PvP system. It was kind of turning on a bit, but not really truly supporting PvP. So we wanted to focus a lot more on a dedicated mode that would allow those players who really want to play PvP to do it with some actual support, with a progression system and arenas built for it, and UI and all the great things that you'll get from PvP modes. So, and in the future, we will consider doing more PvP modes as well. And like I mentioned earlier today, I would love to have. Right now, we don't have like a way to duel, and so that's something I think we'd really like to add.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Australia. On behalf of all the Australian players, I just wanted to know if you guys are planning to introduce either an offline or a LAN play option, or alternatively actually bring some